Hi guys, so this will be my first reading vlog. I'll probably film it over the next week or so, depending on how much content I can even film or that's even interesting enough to film. So it's April 6th. I think it's about 1:30 right now. I have to go pick up my daughter from daycare in the next hour and a half or so. So I figured I would sit down and try to get some reading in. Romeo's my little companion. He always sits by me when I read, huh buddy? So anyways, I'm currently, there he is begging for more attention. He's gonna make a bed back there. Take your time, buddy. Take your time. So currently I am reading One by One by Ruth Ware. I'm on page 264. So I have maybe like a third of it left. This is taking me longer than usual and I don't know why, because I am enjoying the story and everything. I love Ruth Ware. I've read several of her books, and so I knew I would enjoy this one. I was reading Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, but I don't know, you guys. I got this, my bookmark's on page 54, but I know I got a little bit further into it than that, and I was just so bored. And I'm really sad because a lot of people like this book and talk about it, and all the book groups I'm in, everybody's talking about how they love it and it's one of their favorites and it's amazing. But for me, I am just not feeling it. And I know some people are going to be like, well, you're only like 50 pages in, but I have a very good radar when I'm reading a book that if by 50 pages, I'm not even somewhat invested in the story, I know it's most likely just not a story for me. It doesn't make it a bad book or anything. I'm not resonating with it. And so I think I'm going to DNF it. I physically read the first 50 or so pages, and then I picked up the audiobook to hopefully kind of just get me more into it without me having to sit down and read it. And even then I was just like, ugh, I just didn't care. So I think I'm going to DNF it and just move on from it, because I would rather use my time reading a book that I'm super interested in, like One by One. All right, I'm going to shut up, sit down, and get some reading in. Hey guys, it's the end of the day. It's about 9 o'clock. I'm going to wash my face and hop into bed and get some reading done, but wanted to just jump in here and say hello, and hopefully I can get a good chunk of reading done before bed. morning. It's about 9:30 on Wednesday. As you just saw, I just had my coffee, got some editing done, and then updated my reading journal because I finished One by One by Ruth Ware last night. This book definitely is falling at a 5-star for me. I thought the environment was brilliant. I really enjoyed our characters. I liked the dual perspective of this book. And even though I predicted who the killer was going to be about a quarter of the way into the book, I still found it fascinating to see how it was going to play out, what their motives were, all of that. I'm not going to say too much about the plot or anything like that because I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it yet. I can do a spoiler-filled review if that's something anyone would be interested in, so just leave me a comment if that's something you'd want me to go ahead and make. But once again, if you like mystery thrillers, I highly recommend picking this up. The next book I'm going to pick up is Every Value Break by Peter Swanson. I'm actually going to be buddy reading this with my mom. We've been choosing a book every week or so to read together so we can discuss it and talk about it. And this was our next pick. All I really know about this one is a bride-to-be cheats on her husband the night before their wedding, and the man she cheats with ends up becoming a crazy, obsessed stalker, and I think we all know where that's going to go from there. So I'm really excited to start this. This book isn't too long. I think it's just about 300 pages, so I know I can fly through this week. Just jumping in here to give you a quick reading update. So I've read a little bit of Every Value Break. I got to page 67. I have a few thoughts on this book. I'm not immediately hooked on the story, and I don't know if it's because I feel a certain type of way towards the main character because she cheated on her fiance. Even though I knew that was a plot point going in, I didn't realize how affected I would be going into the story. So I have some issues with her, but I'm only, 70 pages in. So I'm hoping the more I get into the story, maybe she'll redeem herself in some way. But I'm going to keep reading on this. My mom is already about 40 pages ahead of me. So as soon as I'm done filming this clip, I'm going to sit down and catch up to her. Then I started 2 other books yesterday. So the first one is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This book I had actually started several months ago, and I got to page, I think, like 24, and I was enjoying it, but it was one of those things that I had so many new releases, and I just bought a few books that I was more excited to read, so I kind of put this on the back burner. And then I looked on Libby, and I actually found the audiobook for it, so I've decided to listen to it. So I listened to it on the way to go drop my daughter off at daycare and on the way back, and I've gotten to page 154. So I have less than an hour until the end of this, so I know I'll be able to finish it today. I am really enjoying this. I will say that classics are a little intimidating to me because I don't know if I'm going to be smart enough to understand them and read them and enjoy them like other people do. But I am so glad I picked this up. It's my first classic that I've ever even tried to read, and I am really, really enjoying it. I think it's going to fall at a 5-star, which it might seem like I give 5 stars out very easily considering I already gave one to One by One, but I swear it's usually very hard for me to give a 5-star, but I am really, really liking this. Last night, I needed to pick up a physical book because I had to put Every Value Break down until my mom could catch up to where I was. So I picked up On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. I read The Hate You Give by her, I believe 2 years ago, and I loved that book. And then I bought Concrete Rose by her, not realizing that I hadn't read this one yet. I don't know why I thought I had. So I'm going to pick this up and read it. I'm already really into our main character, even though I'm 8 pages in. She just has attitude and sass, and I just love it. So this is something I'll be picking up interspersely with Every Value Break, just to kind of break it up and give my mom a chance to catch up to me in that one. So these are my 3 current reads. As I said, I'll probably finish The Great Gatsby today. I have less than an hour, and I'll probably listen to it while I clean the kitchen up. And so I'll be able to finish that, and then I'll probably pick up another audiobook. I'm not sure what I want to read. Usually I just go on to Libby and I search the books that are in my TBR cart back here, and whatever one's available is usually the one I end up picking up. So I will update you once I pick up a new audiobook. Same spot for another reading update because my reading plans have changed quite a bit since I last updated. And let me tell you why. So first things first, I finished The Great Gatsby. I did end up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. I just thought the writing was brilliant and beautiful, and there's so many quotable one-liners from this book. I don't think I'll do it justice by talking about it because it's just been talked about so widely before. I don't feel like I need to sit here and rave about it. It is just a beautiful book, and as somebody who has never read classics, I'm really glad this was the first one I ended up picking up. An update on Every Value Break. I got up to page 114, and it's just now starting to get even remotely interesting. Like, things are finally starting to happen. I will say the first 100 pages or so are very, very slow, and I was getting to the point where I was starting to skim some paragraphs because it just seemed like unnecessary detail we were being given. But as of right now, it's starting to get interesting. I know my mom is at least like 70 pages ahead of me, so I need to make sure I sit down and read and catch up to her. And it's funny because it usually happens the other way around. Usually she's telling me to slow down, but this one, she's been able to breeze through quite a bit of it today. So I need to catch up to her. I said I was going to update you on what audiobook I picked up next, and it ended up being 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. I have read several books, at least 3 or 4 books by her, and I really do enjoy her writing style. This one I only got, maybe an hour into the audiobook, so I have no idea what page I ended up on, but it was something that, as I said, I just looked on Libby, saw it was available, and so I ended up picking this one up. So I'll let you know a little bit more when I get more into the story. And then lastly, I said last night I had picked up On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. And while I'm definitely still going to read this one, I realized that my aunt and I were talking about The Lost Apothecary, and I know she started it. So I'm going to put down On the Come Up, and I'm going to go ahead and pick this one up instead and kind of read it alongside my aunt. I'm sure she's much further ahead of me. But Aunt Nicole, I'm reading this for you so we can talk about it. So those are all of my reading updates. I'm going to go ahead and sit down with Every Value Break and get a good chunk of this read. guys a little bit of different scenery for you. I think I just put in a few minutes of cleaning montage. And if I did, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a quick reading update. So I've listened to more of my audiobook on the way to dropping Aria off at daycare. So I got to page 64. So far I'm liking it. It's funny because these two books kind of have a similar atmosphere right now. They're both set at retreats where they cut you off from like your cell phone and your electronics and everything, and it's all about, you know, reconnecting. And that's a complete coincidence. I didn't realize these two were similar in the slightest, but I just found that funny. But so far I am liking it. I like, because it's an audiobook, the narrator has an Australian accent, so I'm finding it super soothing to just even listen to her. So far we've been introduced to a few characters and I haven't found an issue with any of them. So I'm thinking this might be a nice read for me. As far as every value break, I have several issues with our main character right now. At the moment, I'm finding her super whiny. Oh, I didn't even tell you what page I'm on. I got to page 193 last night. I just find her super whiny. She's always complaining, and the things she's complaining about are so first world problems that I'm just getting annoyed with her. The plot itself has thickened. There are things that are happening. There are definitely some twists and turns that we're going through, but as a character, I find her, honestly, I wouldn't be friends with her. Let me just put it that way. So I should be finishing this today. My mom and I discussed her reading and finishing today as well. So hopefully I'll have an update for you later tonight. Editing Casey here. So I just realized this video is nearing about 18 minutes. So I'm actually gonna stop it here, and then next week I will upload my next reading vlog. So until then, keep reading, and I will see you guys in my next video.